Alec Guinness walked away with $500 million from Star Wars, and we're not talking about the entire franchise, just the original film from 1977. 20 minutes of screen time translated into more money than most people could spend in 10 lifetimes. And the wildest part is that Guinness thought the whole project was complete garbage. Today, I'm counting down the 12 biggest single-movie paydays in Hollywood history. And while you'll recognize some of the usual suspects, the deals that made these numbers possible completely changed how studios pay their stars. We're ending with that Alec Guinness story because the numbers alone don't do it justice. Sandra Bullock stands as the only woman in the top 20 all-time single-film paydays. And the whole thing happened because of perfect timing, combined with one very well-timed dropout. Coming off her Oscar win for The Blind Side, Bullock had the kind of bargaining power most actors only dream about. Angelina Jolie pulled out of Gravity at the last minute, and Warner Brothers needed a megastar immediately, which meant they were over a barrel. Bullock's team swooped in and negotiated something almost unheard of in modern Hollywood: $20 million upfront plus 15% of first-dollar gross. That first-dollar distinction matters more than you'd think. Most profit deals only kick in after the studio recoups their costs, and thanks to Hollywood accounting, that can take forever or never happen at all. First-dollar gross meant Bullock started getting paid from the very first ticket sold, and on top of that, she locked in a cut of home video, TV rights, and streaming revenue. Gravity pulled in $723 million worldwide, and The Hollywood Reporter said Bullock made at least $70 million, though some estimates pushed closer to 75. Adjusted for inflation, that comes out to about $98 million today, making it the highest payday ever for an actress in a single film. Industry insiders were genuinely shocked because first-dollar deals basically don't exist anymore unless you're Robert Downey Jr. wearing an Iron Man suit. But Bullock had the leverage, and she knew exactly how to use it. Harrison Ford came out of semi-retirement for this one, and Paramount understood they couldn't make Indiana Jones without him, which gave Ford all the cards. The deal they structured sounds crazy on paper, but actually made perfect sense for everyone involved. Ford, Spielberg, and George Lucas all agreed to skip upfront salaries completely, and instead, they split a massive chunk of the profits after the studio covered their costs. No guaranteed money, just pure back end, which is a gamble most actors won't take. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull cost $185 million to make, but brought in $790 million worldwide, landing as the third biggest movie of 2008 right behind The Dark Knight and Iron Man. Ford's take came to $65 million back then, which translates to about $98 million today. Compare that to the $4 or $5 million he made for each of the earlier Indiana Jones movies, and you can see this was a completely different ballgame. Ford was basically retired when Paramount came calling, so the studio had to make it worth his time, and giving away profit percentage instead of salary turned out to be the right move. Ford ended up as the highest paid actor in the world that year. By the time Iron Man 3 rolled around, Downey had become basically untouchable in Hollywood. The Avengers had just exploded at the box office, and Downey renegotiated his Marvel deal with numbers that just kept climbing higher. For Iron Man 3, Downey locked in $75 million total back in 2013, which broke down to about $50 million base salary, with the rest coming from box office bonuses. The movie made $1.2 billion worldwide, so every percentage point in those bonuses counted for millions. That $75 million translates to about $105 million in today's money. Number and one movie paid him what he'd made from both previous Iron Man films combined. Marvel couldn't afford to lose him, everybody knew it, and this deal set the standard for the insane Avengers paychecks that came later. For 3 straight years, Downey ranked as the highest paid actor in the world, all thanks to this Marvel run. The whole thing feels insane when you remember his first Iron Man paycheck was $500,000. Anyone who thought back-end deals were dead in the streaming era got proven completely wrong by Tom Cruise with Top Gun Maverick. Cruise took a pretty standard upfront fee of about $12.5 million, but the real money came from his share of first dollar gross, which meant he wasn't getting a piece of the profit, he was getting a piece of the total revenue from day one. The Maverick went on to make $1.5 billion worldwide, becoming the biggest hit of Cruise's entire career, and that's really saying something considering his track record. That pushed his total payday to about $100 million in 2022. And when you add in streaming revenue and all the other income streams, it climbs closer to $110 million today. Cruise became the highest paid actor of 2022, and the whole thing proved that if you deliver results, studios will still give you the old school deals that everyone said were extinct. Cruise basically saved theaters during the pandemic, so Paramount was more than happy to pay up. Will Smith stands as one of only a handful of actors to break $100 million on a single film, and he pulled it off with Men in Black 3 back in 2012. Smith was the face of the franchise by that point, so his contract included a massive backend on top of a huge upfront salary. The movie made $624 million globally, which is actually impressive when you know they started shooting before the script was even finished. Director Barry Sonnenfeld admitted later that jumping into production without a finished script wasn't exactly smart. The budget climbed close to $250 million, and with costs that high, the studio's actual profit wasn't huge. Smith's deal meant none of that mattered to him. He walked away with $100 million back then, which comes out to more like $140 million today. That puts him in a very small club of actors who've pulled 9 figures from one movie. And just for context, Smith's take from Men in Black 3 was bigger than what Robert Downey Jr. got for Avengers Endgame. The original Mission Impossible was Cruise's first time as both star and producer, and he made absolutely sure to structure the deal in his favor. Setting it up under his new production company, Cruise locked in a huge piece of the profits on top of his acting fee. The movie blew up with $457 million worldwide, which was massive back in 1996. By producing and taking a profit share, Cruise didn't just collect the normal paycheck, he got $70 million personally. Adjusted for today, that comes out to about $145 million. And remember, the movie's actual budget was $80 million. So think about that for a second. That early decision is why the Mission franchise has been Cruise's personal goldmine for almost 3 decades now. Even when the last one underperformed at the box office, the Cruise still made serious money because he owns a piece of the whole thing. Tom Hanks made one of the smartest career moves ever with Forrest Gump by walking away from his usual $15 to $20 million paycheck and going for points on the film's gross instead. That meant if the movie hit big, his bank account would hit big right along with it. Forrest Gump became the top movie of 1994 with $683 million worldwide, landing just behind The Lion King for the year. Hanks got around $60 million at the time, and that's after he personally paid out of pocket for at least 2 key scenes the studio didn't want to fund, including the entire cross-country running sequence. In today's dollars, that comes out to over $150 million. Hanks made more from Forrest Gump than the film's entire $55 million budget. And of course, he took home the Oscar for Best Actor on top of everything else. After this, Hanks basically stopped taking upfront salaries altogether. He just kept choosing profit participation instead, and it kept working out for him film after film. When Warner Brothers wanted Jack Nicholson as the Joker, he was the first and only piece in place, and not even Tim Burton or Michael Keaton were signed yet. Nicholson already had a string of box office hits and 2 Oscars by that point. To the studio, everything else was negotiable except him, so Nicholson agreed to take a lower upfront salary, dropping from about $10 million to $6 in exchange for a massive piece of the back end. He secured around 15% of the box office gross, plus a cut of all the merchandise and sequel royalties, which turned out to be the smartest move he could have made. Batman ended up grossing over $400 million worldwide, and the merch was absolutely everywhere, making it the highest-grossing film in North America that year, and second only to Indiana Jones globally. Because of that contract, Nicholson reportedly pulled in more than $60 million in 1989, which translates to about $157 million today. That's an insane number for a single film, especially for playing the villain instead of the hero. Nicholson even managed to get top billing, so his name comes before Batman on the poster. Cruise used the same playbook on War of the Worlds in 2005, taking no salary at all, just a cut of first dollar gross at 20% right off the top. Partnering with Spielberg on this one, the movie did huge numbers as the number 4 film at the worldwide box office that year, pulling in $592 million total. Between his share of the gross and home video sales, which pulled in another $113 million, Cruise made around $100 million from War of the Worlds. At the time, it was his biggest paycheck outside the Mission Impossible franchise. Adjusted for today, that comes out to about $166 million. The studio never complained about it either, and a Paramount exec actually went on record saying Cruise was worth every penny because of what he delivered at the box office. Mission Impossible 2 is where Cruise first pulled off a 9-figure payday, and for the sequel, he skipped the upfront fee completely, taking no salary and instead grabbing a big piece of the box office at something like 30%. The movie pulled in more than $546 million worldwide, so Cruise's gamble paid off in a massive way. He ended up with about $100 million just from that one movie, and that's in year $2,000. Adjusted for inflation, that comes out to $189 million today. And since this was also his production company's project, he got the producer credit on top of it all. At the time, only Bruce Willis had ever pulled in a 9-figure payday like that, and while Cruise was already making $20 million per film, Mission Impossible 2 put him in a whole different league. Bruce Willis's Sixth Sense deal stands as a textbook example of betting on the back end, and the studio needed him for a pretty low-budget thriller, so they gave him $14 million upfront, plus 17.5% of the gross profits, plus a piece of the home video money. The movie became the second biggest hit of 1999, pulling in $673 million worldwide. Willis walked away with about $114 million total, and most of that came from the back end. That's almost $220 million in today's money, and it still ranks as one of the biggest paydays an actor has ever pulled from a single movie. The home video sales kept piling up too, and The Sixth Sense was the most rented movie of 2000, which meant every one of those tapes translated into more money for Willis. He ended up as the top-earning actor of that year. Keanu Reeves set a new record with his Matrix sequels Payday, and when they filmed Reloaded and Revolutions back-to-back, he didn't just take a big salary, he negotiated back-end points that changed everything. Officially, he was paid about $30 million for both movies up front, but his share of the profits made the real difference. When the box office numbers came in, Reeves walked away with around $156 million total just from those two films. Adjusted for inflation, that comes out to roughly $275 million for one job, and he even shared some of that with the visual effects crew by giving out big bonuses. Not many stars do that, and the Matrix sequels weren't as beloved as the original, but Reeves still made out like a bandit. Alec Guinness wasn't some random British actor who got lucky with Star Wars. By the time George Lucas offered him Obi-Wan in 1976, Guinness was already a legend with more than 50 films under his belt, multiple collaborations with David Lean, and an Oscar for The Bridge on the River Kwai. When Fox came to him with the role, he had leverage, and a lot of it. Fox's first offer was $150,000. Guinness basically said no unless they doubled it and gave him back-end points, and this became one of the earliest profit-sharing deals in Hollywood and absolutely one of the smartest. He ended up with 2% of the back-end grosses, and after filming wrapped, Lucas personally added another 0.25% as a goodwill bonus. When Star Wars hit theaters, that tiny percentage turned into real money fast. Guinness made about $7 million from the initial 1977 release alone, which was already massive for the time. But the re-releases, home video, and merchandising kept paying out year after year. By the year 2000, his total Star Wars earnings were estimated at $95 million, and adjusted to today, that comes out to around $500 million. All for roughly 20 minutes of screen time in a movie he famously called fairy tale rubbish. Guinness never really understood why Star Wars became such a phenomenon, but he cashed the checks anyway. That 2% deal is still considered one of the shrewdest negotiations in Hollywood history. So which one of these deals shocked you the most? I honestly had no idea Alec Guinness made that much money, and the fact that he thought the movie was garbage makes it even better. If you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button because I've got more videos breaking down the business side of Hollywood coming soon.